Welcome to Extra Minutes, the official podcast of West Texas FC. Sponsored by Case Corporate.
Welcome to the latest episode of Extra Minutes, brought to you by Case Corporate Housing. And we are here at Tall City Brewing, and we just watched our boys bring home the W away. That's been a bit of a problem for us of late. We've lost our last two, or haven't lost, felt like losses, but haven't got the results that we wanted the last two away games. And luckily we're able to pull out the win against Fort Worth Vaqueros tonight in a bananas game, Adam. So you want to kick us off with let's talk about the first half, because it really is, I think Brandon mentioned, it's a tale of two halves, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So give us a picture of just what the first half was like.
Well, I mean, it felt like both teams just came out hair on fire. You have, one team that, hasn't won a game in a whole year. You have another team who, we've been hot. We've kind of had some cold moments. We're ready to kind of, really get moving as we come into the later half of our season, finally coming home to end the season out. And it just felt like pure craziness. It almost felt like watching a kids game at first, where it was just people everywhere, chaos, and 4 goals in 10 minutes.
And that's not an exaggeration. We're talking literally 4 goals, two goals for each team in 10 minutes, in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Not just in 10 minutes, in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So, Brandon, what was kind of your take on that first half?
Oh, man. I mean, 4 goals in 10 minutes against a team that's not won a game in a year. They're desperate, right?
Yep.
They're desperate to win. They're desperate to keep their playoff hopes alive. And for us, I mean, we're battling into that top 4 right now.
Right.
We're in that 4th spot. Now we move up to 3rd.
Yeah,
but, to see that 2-2 in the first 10 minutes, it's like, man, this is going to be a barn burner. This is not the team you want to do it against. That's going to be desperate and all that. So after the first 4 goals in the 10 minutes, I feel like both teams really got their footing. And then West Texas FC, I mean, they really started to play their game toward the end of that first half, got chances into the boxes, just couldn't find that go-ahead goal in the first half, Yeah,
and I know here at Tall City, we were all watching, and it just was like, it felt like there were 4 goals before I had really even settled into the game. At some point, I'm just like, what's happening? Like, oh, we scored, they scored. Oh, we scored, they scored. It was just such a bananas start to the game, and I'm trying to get my bearings, right?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, then it kind of settled down, and you're just like, it was just such a wild. We got friends leaving here at Tall City, and let's say the crowd here at Tall City was fantastic tonight. It's just fun watching the game with people that you enjoy being around.
Yeah, and last away game of the year, so last away.
That's true. Yeah.
Last away watch party here at Tall City,
Right.
But man, I mean, minimum. Each away watch party we had minimum 15, 20 people here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the show was just amazing. And again, thank you to our sponsors at Tall City for allowing us to do this.
Yeah.
Getting us tables on the side as well, reserving a section for us as well.
Yep.
It was big for us all season.
Yeah. So Brandon, let's talk a little bit about the setup of the team, because it was a little different today, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about kind of some of the different reasons why the lineup might have changed. But you mind just going through kind of some of the changes that were made, and maybe some of the things that are some of the factors that go into why you might change the lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. Had a bit of a different holistic 18. We haven't seen Alan Martinez in the 18 in a long time. He was put into the 18 today. A new player who, if you pay attention to the West Texas FC social media, Nick Canina, acquired from Kalamazoo FC. He was their captain at USL 2. He played Birmingham City U18, played with Jude Bellingham, one of the greatest, if not the greatest soccer player right now.
Playing tomorrow in the Euros.
Exactly, playing tomorrow in the Euros as well. So he was in the 18, and then Frederick Clausen getting a start here this evening. He was in the 18 last week, played a couple of minutes toward the end of the game in Laredo. And then Kareem Williams shifting to the bench. Again, possibly due to rest. They have a lot of games coming up, a lot of games played in the last week and a half. Just kind of keeping the legs.
A lot of travel, too. I mean, a lot of road miles, right? I think Brownsville from here is something like 9.5 hours.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then Laredo is something like 7.5. Yeah. So, and I can't remember. Melissa told us that the road miles, as far as like what it does to you physically, is like amounts to a certain amount of minutes of game time. It's almost like you just driving down there and back, you end up playing multiple games physically just because of the toll that travel takes.
And I can kind of attest to that as well. When I was with the Jackalopes this past season, we would have Corpus Christi as a road trip. We had Shreveport as a road trip and Oklahoma City as a road trip.
I bet Shreveport's about the same too.
Shreveport was about 8.5 hours.
Okay.
And it's no, I mean, here's the thing. We would play a Friday, Saturday. So we'd drive down on a Thursday, stay in a hotel, and on the ride back, they would get done on a Saturday playing at 10 o'clock, and we would drive the 8.5 hours back on the bus. And it's not a sleeper bus either.
Right.
You just have your seats that are straight up. So you're using backpacks, you're using pillowcases, you're laying on the floor, you're doing whatever you can to get comfortable.
Yeah.
So
well, and luckily our guys, I know they drove down to Brownsville. They were able to stay kind of in the area. I think it's about 2.5, 3 hours or something like that to Laredo, and we're able to play that game. And then, but after the Laredo game, got in the bus and headed back, got in, 5 a.m.
odd hours at night.
And we saw them the next day stretching out. And man, you could just see after losing and a tie that felt like a loss, you could just see how deflated they were. And it was so sad, like, because we as fans, right, we were so proud of the way that they played. We were like, we know we're better than these performances would show, but at the same time, like, we understand what happened. We understand that those are tough games, and I don't know, it was just something about the look in their eyes. You just want to give them a hug and be like, man, we're with you, you know? Yeah. Like, you're our team, we're with you. We're 100%, and this win just felt like they needed it as players. The coaching staff, I'm sure, needed it. We as fans needed it, you know, and just what a perfect way to kind of jump into this run of 4 home games. So, you know, as we talk about kind of the rest of the season, the rest of the season is at home, Adam. Yeah. So what do you think that means for our team?
Oh, I mean, it means at least a little bit of familiarity, which is huge in this league where you got, again, our team has played very little time together from all over the world. You're now jumping all over, you know, South Texas and Louisiana, or where, you know, you're all over the place. I don't know why I said Louisiana. Oh, you said Shreveport earlier. Yeah. That's why. All over South Texas, you're playing games. I mean, it takes a toll on you. And now you get to park at home. Yep. You get to play on a field where the fans have your back. You have people cheering for you. You have an advantage. And that, I mean, just means the world. Where it feels like we've kind of lost our edge a little bit last couple games. It seemed like on the second half of tonight's game, we started to find that again. Almost that like swag where it's like we expect to come out here and win.
That's right.
And I feel like, I think that's what we're going to see when they show up on Thursday is I think we're going to almost see a different team.
Yeah, we've earned our stripes.
Yeah.
We've gone all over Texas, literally.
Yeah.
And kind of gotten beat up a little bit, but also got a lot of experience. And now we get to come home and just take it to the competition, right?
Yeah.
So, Brandon, let's talk about Aiken a little bit. So Aiken, you know, we had that first, I think it was the first goal, wasn't it? There was an error. And it was so, like, you know, you can't blame anybody in that kind of a scenario. It was a little tough to see on our end, but it looked like Aiken catches the ball. Maybe one of our defenders kind of hits it on the way by. And, you know, fate or whatever you want to call it, the ball falls right to the Vaqueros and they put it in the back of the net. But then later in the game, Aiken takes a really tough hit. And actually, he took multiple tough hits. Yeah, had to end up coming out of the game. Luckily, we've got a phenomenal goalkeeping, like, just roster, right? But maybe you mind just talking a little bit about Aiken, kind of what he means to these last couple games? Because, I mean, some of these games could have been way worse without Aiken in goal, right?
He's incredible. Okay, so when you look at a constant on a team, you know what you're going to get every single night from Alex Aiken. Yep. You're going to get a solid performance, very minimal mistakes, a very sound goalkeeper. And not to say that you're not going to get there from Sekanina, because you are. You absolutely are.
Yep.
And, you know, watching him, how he kind of conducted himself today, right? Lets up 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. That's easily, you know, an easy way to get rattled.
Yeah, sure.
And you could easily lose your confidence and all
Especially in a
that.
mistake like what happened, right? Yeah.
Right. But what is he doing? He's still challenging balls on the crosses. He's getting to the balls. He's winning those 50-50 races, which, again, toward the second half, we saw he won a 50-50 race, and then it appeared that a Fort Worth Vaquero tried to jump over Aitken, but clipped him right in the head. I mean, that was pretty it was hard contact. You saw his head bounce off the ground. And precautionary.
Somehow not even a foul, which is kind of
No,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
And precautionary reasons. At least we're hoping he came out of the game.
Yeah.
Did walk off on his own power, which was
That's true.
fantastic.
That's true. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, that's a tall task as well.
He didn't want to leave the field either.
No, he wanted to stay on so badly as well. But also, you know, give credit to Christian Sekanina, who had to come in and make, 1 or 2 saves right there. And he hasn't played a game in 4 games.
Right.
I mean,
That's
think
fair.
about that, right? Like since the Austin game. So you're thinking, okay, a little bit of a cold goalkeeper having to play with stoppage time, about 16 to 18 minutes, and come in and close out that game. Luckily as well, we got an insurance goal toward the end from Liam Core, which was fantastic.
Yeah, when we're really blessed, right? I mean, goalkeeper is such a key position that it's nice that we've got 2, I mean, at least 2 guys that you just don't worry about, right? You just know they're there to do the job, and you can count on them. So we've got our next game is against Houston, which will be interesting. We haven't played them yet, and so it'll be interesting to see them at home. It'll be so good to have the boys back. And I just have to say, like, there's just something about this team that it was so good to see them win, right? They've been working so hard. They're so good. And unfortunately just haven't gotten to see the results match how good they really are. Absolutely. And agree. Tonight was at least, I don't even think tonight was a result that matched how good they are.
Yeah.
But I think the fact they got the win proves something about what we're working with here in West Texas.
Yeah.
And I do think that the home games will really tell the full tale. And so the 4 games, Brandon, what are you looking forward to in the next kind of the stretch of home games? Our next game is Thursday the 20th. We want everybody to show up, right? Support our guys. What are you looking forward to?
Well, one, being in the booth. I mean, that was, for Austin, that was fantastic. But yeah, just to, interact with the guys, right? Like on the home game days, you get to interact, you get to feel the energy that the players bring into the stadium. And even after the game, I mean, we saw an autograph alley over at Assam Broadband Stadium. They were interacting with the kids. They were signing autographs on jerseys, on balls, and they were happy and they had smiles on their faces.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, especially against a young Houston team.
Yep.
I don't know if, I started to do my research on this Houston team. Their goalkeeper just graduated high school in May. In 3 straight regional tournaments, however. That's impressive. Local kid from Katy, Texas. They also have a striker from Katy, Texas as well, and a defender from Katy, Texas. So they're a very local team, very young team. And I know we've got some very experienced guys on our team that have played National League in England, where Wrexham was when they started their series, and played just different academies as well for teams that have been in EFL Championship and the Premier League. So hopefully we're able to not only use the home side to our advantage, but also our experience over a young Houston team.
Yeah, no doubt. How about you, Adam? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to kind of 2 different things on different sides. One, for the team, I'm looking for us to really lean in, find our identity, and really kind of build some confidence building up into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think we see these sparks of just pure greatness out of this team, where there is a lot of potential.
Yep.
And I really hope, being able to stay home, be a little more consistent in schedule, more consistent on, location, they can really kind of lean into the things that maybe, having to travel and those kind of stuff, you just don't have time to really kind of get into a good rhythm. And I'm hoping that by this, they can really come together as a team and find that. And then on the other side, I'm looking forward to our home field advantage growing. I want to see the crowd continue to grow. I think we heard like a little over 1,000 first home game. I'm hoping, man, that needs to grow. I mean, my kids got to go to their first home game this season and loved it. I mean, they're like you talked about Autograph Alley. I mean, they got jerseys with names all over the back. I mean, they've been asking since that first home game, hey, is the next home game this week? Is it this week? Is it this week? And it's like, all right, slow down. It's coming. It's not our fault. We didn't set the schedule. But I mean, it is such a great opportunity to have this team here that's good and worth rooting for, but then also just the guys are, like you talked about, I mean, they're great.
They're so
I
good.
mean, how many guys would you run into and, you know, they're on the team and all this stuff, and they got a lot to think about and worry about, and they're wanting to apologize, like, or you know, feeling bad for how they've been playing.
They
It's
care
like,
about what you think.
like, what the heck, man? Like, no, like, we got your back.
Right.
We want you to come out and kick some ass here at home. And let's show up. If you haven't shown up, you need to show up, and you'll see, like, oh yeah, I've been missing out.
And tickets start at just $8.
Yeah,
I mean,
which
come
is
on, right? Like,
insane.
Show up.
Yeah.
I think actually, maybe I'm wrong. So you can cut this out if not. But I think I saw that Tall City is giving out free tickets to a game of choice if you buy a pint tomorrow.
Is that right?
Yesterday? Damn it.
yesterday.
Oh, it's so close.
Yeah.
Well,
So anybody that bought a pint yesterday.
congrats.
But I mean, honestly, like, you can't even buy a pint for $8.
No.
Right? Like,
No, I mean, you can't take your kids to a movie for that. You can't go. Certainly can't go bowling or putt. Putt's like $30 a person. So I mean, go watch a fun game. Great beer, great atmosphere. Bring some smoke bombs and noisemakers.
right. Well, and there's like a second layer to it to me. Like, today, coming to this game, you know, we've had a rough run before this game, right? And there was something about putting on the kit, right? And looking in the mirror and looking at that badge and the pride that I felt for the badge, even in the losses, because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That's football. But looking at the badge and going, how do you win? How do you lose? Right? Like, how do you as a club and how do you as a team, what's your identity? You know, you talked about identity. The identity of this team is one that I don't care if we ended up in last place. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
You know, being able to talk to these guys, it's like, look, I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if we win every game. I don't care if we lose every game. The caliber of people and the caliber of performance that we put out, I am so proud to be a supporter of the club that at some point you're almost just like, man, I'll show up. I don't care. I mean, it's like my kids, right? Like, if it doesn't matter how you perform, if you do your best and you do it the right way, I'm all in. And I think we've done it the right way. And I think we're good enough to really compete and not just compete, but win this thing. And so I think it's an exciting time. I think this squad is top shelf. It's really unfortunate that I really don't think that the results will show how good a squad we have. And I'm excited for them to get this home run of 4 games, to be able to really show the caliber of squad. And let's not forget about the caliber of coaching.
Oh, man.
The caliber of ownership. Because you don't end up with a team like this unless everybody from the very top to the very bottom is doing their job extremely well. I am so thankful to the Cannons for bringing football to Midland, for bringing a squad like this to Midland. I'm so thankful for Coach David and for Coach Scotty for organizing the team and taking it as serious as they are. I'm just so proud to be a supporter of the club. That the next 4 games, I'm just gonna, it doesn't really matter, win, lose, whatever. We're good enough to win every single one of these games. Absolutely. But it doesn't really matter what happens. I'm just gonna bask in how awesome it is just to have the opportunity. So, any closing words, Brandon?
No, just come out and support the guys. I mean, it's well worth your $8. I mean, come on, like we were saying, you can't do much for $8, let alone a semi-professional soccer game. Come on. It's high caliber, it's high level, and you guys are gonna have a great time.
Yeah. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, same. Just come out and support. I mean, these are, like you said, high caliber guys. They want to win more than anyone. And, man, we want to win too. We're a competitive community with football. Like, all right, now let's do it with soccer. I mean, we have a really good team that could make some noise in the playoffs here pretty soon. And man, you're going to want to be in at the beginning and say, like, yeah, I was there, when that happened.
Yep. Man, great words. So next game, and if you can't make it out to the game, we'll be streaming them on YouTube. We will be filming them. Brandon will be the voice of West Texas FC. So at least be engaged, comment, give our guys some support in any way. They watch this stuff. They pay attention to this. It means a lot to them. They want to make the city proud. They want to make this area proud. So let's support our guys. And
and we're hoping to have some players on the podcast soon.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
Of them. Yeah. Man, I love those guys. The more you
I was going to say,
them, they're great.
I've got a podcast of my own, and George Windsor this past week was our guest, and came on and talked about his journey just in England and coming over to America and just getting the opportunity to play and how thankful he is.
Yeah,
for
what's
it.
the name of that podcast?
It is Chatter from the Cheap Seats. So be sure to go listen. It's all on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well. So be sure to go give it a listen.
Perfect. All right. Vamos West Texas. We'll see you guys all on Thursday, June 20th at Astound Stadium when West Texas FC takes on CF Houston. And it'll be a party.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right. See you there.
Nothing beats that moment. The thrill, the smell, the sounds, the electricity in the air.
Williams, and it's in for West Texas FC!
You can't get that at home on your lumpy couch.
Receives on his left, goes to his right, Marquez! West Texas FC 3, Austin United 1. That's Antoine Marquez's first goal of the season.
West Texas FC. Get your tickets now so you won't miss that moment.